and welcome into the ReMix, a mix of entertainment, lifestyle, and community news. I'm Breana Pitts. Back to school is here and summer is nearing an end, but there is still time to enjoy the weather with a picnic. I spoke with Chef Wil Gilson about some ideas for the best outdoor experience. Well, as summer winds down, there is still plenty of time to enjoy the flavors of the season. Joining us now, we have Chef Wil Gilson of the restaurant Purtian and Company in Cambridge. Chef, thank you so much for coming in today.
Yeah, of course. It's psyched to be here.
It looks so beautiful. We're talking end of summer picnics, hence our theme that you can see on the table. What do you think makes a good picnic setup?
Well, I think picnic setup's got to be, it can travel at room temperature. You don't have to worry about it, like, not being hot, like, it's still fine, to be able to have it at any sort of temperature, making sure that it's something that is crowd pleasing. You've got a couple friends coming with you. You don't know what everybody's diet's going to be. You don't know if everybody's down with a full charcuterie based sandwich. So,
sure.
But today what we did is we brought all of our food from our newest restaurant called Amba, which is a rotisserie chicken Mediterranean themed restaurant.
Sounds delicious.
Everything that we have here is pretty much, it's either variations from chicken or variations of vegetarian food, or things that can be served with a pita, in a pita, on a pita.
Love that. Little bit of everything.
Just talking pita.
Okay, so walk me through what's on the table today. Just walk me through what you brought, and then we'll get into making
Of course. So I wanted all these things, like I said, to be kind of like fine to be able to eat room temp, be able to kind of put into a picnic basket and bring with you. So I always think the best way to start off any sort of Mediterranean feast is with dips. Dips, bread, you can kind of just drag through everything. You got a couple different ones in there. You kind of reach every single person's flavor profile.
Yeah.
So what we've got here is just a little bit of hummus. Ours has this bright lemon flavor. We serve it with some chickpeas that have been marinated in a chili pepper called urfa, just like a dried chili pepper.
Can I try as you described?
Yes, as you should.
Okay.
Then we have a feta dip here. Now that feta dip is done with herbs. Sometimes you see whipped feta dip with peppers, but again, my background coming from an herb farm, I wanted to find a way to put as many herbs inside of whipped feta as possible.
Oh my gosh.
We just garnish that with a little bit of dried rose petals on top.
I'm still back at the hummus.
I know, right? I know. You got to catch up. You got to catch up.
Good.
But then we've got here mahamara. So mahamara is one of those spreads that you don't see terribly often. It is a walnut-based spread. So you toast the walnuts, and then you mix those walnuts with some roasted peppers, a little bit of tomato, and then pomegranate molasses. Pomegranate molasses is like pomegranate juice reduced down until it's like kind of sweet and sour.
Wow.
So that one is also one of my favorites as well. You should definitely try that.
Okay, I'm going in.
So then kind of moving into like another variation of things that you can do with pita. So this is a dish called arrayes. Now arrayes, typically you take a pita, you open it up and you fill it with ground lamb sausage inside of it.
Okay.
And then you basically grill the whole pita with it inside. So you basically are making like sausage stuffed bread. So what we wanted to do is kind of flip that on its head with kind of where the trends are going right now. And this one is done smash burger style. So we take that lamb sausage, that sort of lamb burger, we press it into an open-faced pita, and then we smash that on the grill so it gets that caramelization, gets the flavors, and you don't have to worry about, oh no, it's still raw in the center. You know it's cooked.
That's nice to know.
So on here we have a little bit of tomato jam, and then we've got this shawarma sauce, which is really just kind of like Greek yogurt with a little bit of dill, lemon juice, garlic.
Wow, that looks so refreshing.
We've got a black garlic tahina. This is also one of our sauces. So you basically take tahini with a little bit of garlic, lemon juice, but in this case we swap out the garlic for black garlic, which is like
what's the difference between black garlic and regular garlic?
You ferment the garlic basically inside of its skin, and it sits there for a few days, and then when it's done, those things that are normally white cloves are jet black, and they're jammy, and they've got this amazing flavor. It doesn't have that same bite that people always feel like when they have raw garlic.
Yeah, so you're used to garlic breath.
I'm used to garlic breath, It's always a staple in my house.
Yeah.
And then this is Amba. This is what we named the restaurant off of. So this is a sauce. You should definitely try this one.
Okay, here, I'll grab this.
Do it. So this sauce is made from fermented mangoes. And then the fermented mangoes are cooked with toasted spices, some chilies, a little bit of vinegar, a little bit of sugar, a little bit of olive oil.
This is so cozy.
And so it tastes almost Indian, if you think. And the funny thing about this is this sauce was basically developed with folks who were traveling from India to Iraq. And it has an amazing flavor profile that I just love to serve on whatever we possibly can. And so this is one of the sauces that you can get if you get a whole rotisserie chicken from Amba.
Wow, that is so light, and it reminds you of summer, but it, like I said, it's cozy in a way. It's almost summer, fall.
Right.
It's really great.
So this is good, and we kind of cut this almost like a little pizza, so you can bring this with you, you can grab little slices of it.
Yeah.
And then we've also got, kind of the other more traditional fare. So, here we've got a salad. This one's called a fattoush salad. So we take the pita, every single time we open up a pita, we cut off this front part right here, so we're left with all these pita scraps.
Oh,
so then we cut those up, soak them in some olive oil, a little bit of black pepper, a little bit of za'atar, which is like a nice spice made with toasted sesame seeds and dried thyme and sumac. And then we just go romaine lettuce, chopped cucumber, chopped onion, and then some beautiful herbs. We got some parsley, mint, and dill.
That looks so good.
So we put that pita on there, a little bit of yogurt dressing, we're good to go. Now, because we're rotisserie, we always have rotisserie chicken. So one of the ways that we do at the end of it is we have all these leftover rotisserie chickens, we pick the meat off them, we make chicken salad. So here we've got a chicken salad pita. So not everything has to be kind of in that super spicy, super flavorful. And this is one sort of a good crowd pleaser right here.
Totally.
We just take it, we mix it, and instead of using mayo, we use tahini and Greek yogurt.
So you put that Mediterranean little twist on it.
Yeah, so some pickled onions, some herbs on top of there. That one's great. And then, if you're down, we're gonna make a chicken shawarma pita.
Of course I'm down.
Yeah? All right,
Yeah, show me how to do it. I want to impress my picnic friends.
So it's all about the pita. So once you have the pita here, we're gonna take a little bit of hummus.
Okay.
The hummus then goes inside of the pita bread.
All right.
This is where it starts. Then we take a little bit of lightly pickled cabbage.
Okay,
So a
for
little red
crunch.
cabbage, got a good crunch in there.
Okay.
You want to make sure you squeeze as much of this out as you can before it goes in there, because you don't want it to be like, overly wet and soggy. This is called farmer's salad. So farmer's salad is tomatoes, onions, we have a little bit of cucumber, and then we add some pickles in here for sort of more of an American flavor, if you will.
I like that. That's very easy to make at home, too.
So you just kind of keep hollowing out the pita like that.
Yep.
All right, see? And then we take...
like a little pita cocoon.
That's right. We take a little bit of this chicken right here. So this chicken has been marinated for at least 24 hours.
Wow, what kind of spices? Because it's got a beautiful orange color.
So this one we have kind of our signature shawarma spice, so I'm not really going to tell you exactly everything in here, but I can tell you that there's some hints of cumin, coriander, cardamom, a little bit of smoked paprika in there. So
that's fair.
We put all that in there, then we've got ourselves a little bit of the shawarma sauce.
Wow, that looks so beautiful.
Yeah. And a little bit of the tahina. And if you really want to, you can add some of the Amba sauce, which is my little hack that I like to put in there.
Do you feel like the sauce, I'm noticing a theme, it's almost like the sauces, the dips, that's a really big part of this,
It's about building flavors. So it's we're not gonna achieve anything here with just one singular thing. What we're trying to do is make sure that all these flavors layer on top of everything, that they're super, super rich, super, super flavorful, but also you can taste each one. And that's kind of the point here of a great pita-based sandwich, is to be able to taste every single thing that you're making.
Looks so good. Tell people one last time before we go where they can find Amba.
Yeah, so Amba is at 59 First Street. We're right across from the Cambridge Side Galleria. We just opened about 7 weeks ago, and this is our 7th restaurant in the greater Cambridge area, so we're really excited.
Well, such a tribute to your success and all these yummy flavors that you put together. Chef, thank you so much for coming in. We really appreciate it.
Thanks for having me. Great to be here.
Well, when we come back on The Remix, new insight into the biggest toy company on the planet. We talk to the head of the Lego Group Americas, Kodak, about the new Lego hub coming to Boston, the expansion of jobs on the horizon, and much more. Lego is the top toy company on the planet, and the company is getting ready to launch its new U.S. hub in Boston next year. Paula Ebben sat down with the regional president Americas of the Lego Group, Kodak, to talk about everything from new jobs in the city to the new Jaws playset and brick enthusiast Olympian medalist Sammy Sullivan.
And you have some news that you're breaking about the location today.
So breaking news about the location, actually two bits, and they go hand in glove. So one bit is we've made the decision and agreed with our friends at Samuels and Associates that we're going to take an additional floor in that building. So that will take our floor count up to 6, I believe.
Okay.
And the reason we're doing that is we've actually looked at what were our earlier estimates of the workforce size we thought we would house, and we simply come to the conclusion, even though we thought we were dreaming big, we actually didn't dream quite big enough based on where our current growth is and what that trajectory would mean for future workforce planning and space needs.
So you think you might have even more employees?
We started off thinking that, so we have 400 currently, 400 roles, and we thought maybe we would have 750 over time, like 7, 8, 9 years. We actually think that number is going to be greater than 800 now.
Interesting. Oh, that's amazing. You had an international day of play.
Yeah.
That was a big success. Who came up with that idea, and why do you think it's so important?
So let me start with why it's so important.
Yeah.
We know that for a healthy child development cycle, once you've kind of considered really human needs, so am I safe? Do I have food and water? You know, am I cared for? Am I loved? Play is actually the next most important thing in in early childhood development and long term for healthy, whole, well children.
Play is the work of childhood.
It is. Right? It absolutely is. And actually play is kind of like, we talk about lifelong learners a lot. Like, lifelong learning and lifelong play actually go together, because when you're playing, the reason that's the work of a child is because they're learning.
Yes.
They're iterating.
Yes.
They're making sense of the world around them. They're relating to it.
And you have this creative team, and now you have a Jaws Lego set.
Yes.
And that came out of that creative team, which was from a fan.
Yep.
So how do ideas like that percolate up to you?
Well, it's funny you should say ideas. So Lego Ideas is actually the kind of the branding we put around these sets, and the Jaws celebration set is exactly an outcome of that. And so we invite our fans through the Lego Ideas crowdsourcing platform to put forward and basically nominate themselves or somebody else for a product that's been developed. And we give some guidance as to, like, using current elements and bricks and all of that, because we want people to have, participate in a way that could result in a fan seeing their set come to life and go out into the marketplace. Right?
Are you amazed how valuable some of the sets are? And the websites that deal in them, people bidding for them?
It's an interesting circumstance. But really what happens is we have fans who are so passionate about certain of these entertainment properties, or they're really into specific sets based on the bricks or the brick colors or the brick shapes in that set, that they want to collect a bunch of those, and then they harvest that to make their own creations. And then there are people who do, and there's articles and videos on this topic all over the place. The Wall Street Journal seems to have an annual event where they talk about your return on a Lego collection can be greater than the S&P 500.
That's amazing.
So it's just, it's not something we set out to do, and honestly, it's kind of it's a bit of a two-edged sort of situation, because it's not our goal at any point for people to feel like they can't access the Lego sets they want. So when you see these, really high prices on eBay as an item has left,
it's not something that you are driving.
And then no, it's not. And then the other side of it is, there is something about that feeling that, wow, like, what I have could be worth something. And so, for collectors who are out there, it's a legitimate hobby that they have.
Yeah. They buy them just to have them.
They buy one to build, and they might buy one to hold on to and see, hey, is this one of those sets that is worth a lot more at some future date?
Interesting. Different kind of investment.
Yep.
Speaking of superfans, the Summer Olympics just wrapped up, and one of our Olympians who was on the rugby team in an interview mentioned that when she wasn't playing rugby, she's obsessed with doing Legos, and so you connected with her. Tell that story.
I mean, I'm not personally directly involved in this, but of course, not only was our communications team very aware of this, but I started to get messages in our internal Teams chat from people.
So this is about Summer
hey,
Sullivan.
Sammy Sullivan.
I'm sorry, Sammy Sullivan.
And so Sammy's message got out there.
Yeah.
And first was one that was a little more about Lego building, and then when they won the medal, I need something to hang my medal on. And wouldn't it be great? And she's, I think, if I remember correctly, in her Instagram story, she had herself standing near the Eiffel Tower. Wouldn't this be a good idea? We happen to have a set that's designed for our adult enthusiasts where they, thousands of pieces. It's a big process, multiple boxes.
Oh, yes. So you sent her like a huge Eiffel Tower set that she can build.
Exactly.
Right, as a gift.
And she started building it. She actually, it's wonderful because, there's, other than the gift, there's just kind of a shared interest around building.
Sure.
And her passion for that. And like that situation is a little uncommon, but it's not uncommon to see, you see different people who might surprise you with their interest in different things. And of course, we pay a lot of attention to anybody who's interested in Lego products.
Of course.
Because, if they have a big following, then that also could be influencing people who might not ordinarily think about Lego building.
Sure.
As an option to satisfy that need we were talking about regular play.
And there you have a type A athlete who's clearly very driven, but to relax.
Yeah.
Building Legos must completely take her mind off of her sport. So,
and she's quite good at it. And she's already, like, before the Olympics, like, she was already a super fan.
Right. She did it on her own.
She didn't have kind of the breadth of platform that that particular moment has given her. And so for sure, that's an impact. And it's also, I'm really hopeful that, we can continue to partner with Sammy around her love for building. Again, we're super excited about what's to come. We're very excited and proud of what we've accomplished so far, but we know that even more is to come in the future.
Right. So Lego will be right on the end of Boylston Street with hundreds and hundreds of employees, hopefully someday thousands.
Yep.
And welcome to Boston.
Thank
to
you so
Lego.
much.
Skip Kodak, president of Lego for the Americas. We appreciate it. Thank you.
Well, fresh off Boston Calling, a Roxbury native is ready to rap her way to the top. Cakeswagg joins the remix with news on her new album, Michelin Star, and what's next. Well, she's a Roxbury native who performed at this past spring's Boston Calling. This month, Cakeswagg released her new album, Michelin Star. Tanaka sat down with the singer to talk about her rising career and helping out her community.
I'm joined now by the artist known as Cakeswagg. Thank you so much for joining us. This is really big for us. You're a homegrown talent, grew up in Roxbury. Boston is your backdrop. You're very diverse in what you do, and we're going to get into that, but how did you first get into music? And has Boston, your experiences growing up here, played any part in that?
Yeah, so I was a MECO student, actually, and I used to make beats on the school bus with my friends.
No kidding.
Because we had an hour ride. I went to school in Natick.
Yeah.
So we would freestyle on the school bus, and it was just a lot of fun. It was a way to pass the time. And my peers actually started seeing talent in me before I saw it in myself.
Yeah.
Because music was always a part of my lifestyle. My mom was in the Black Nativity, and I was a part of that since I was a newborn. Literally, I played Baby Jesus.
That's
so
lovely.
I guess I didn't think of music as a talent. I thought of it as more of a part of my lifestyle. So when my peers started bringing it to my attention, Julisse, that's my name, you're really, really good at this. I think you should think about it more. I'm like, huh. Okay.
So, speaking of your talents, you just released sophomore album called Michelin Star, correct?
Correct.
Oh, I love this. Okay, so people download it. What can they expect? It's diverse.
Yeah. So Michelin Star, I feel with this project, I started coming into my own, more so to speak. My other projects, I was planting seeds, ideas of who I felt I can be. But I feel with this project, I just kind of took it by the reins. It's really an elevated version of all the things that I was doing before. However, there's some razzle-dazzle on this one, so I am a little bit more comfortable with my voice. So I was singing. There's some pop rock, obviously some hip-hop. There's some R&B. It's a medley of things.
And you got to put it on display at Boston Calling this year.
Yes.
That's huge. What was that like, stepping onto the same stage as some of the biggest names in music?
So I'm still like, did that really happen?
Yeah,
like I'm
it
still
happened.
like, you know, when they first reached out to me for Boston Calling, I was like, is this a scam? I said it to my manager. I'm like, is this real? Did they just ask us to do Boston Calling? Like, I couldn't believe it. I didn't even know that anyone in there knew who I was. So I walked into it just feeling like super humble and grateful to be there in the first place. And then when I was there, Boston Calling was a completely different level.
Hey, this is what I love. You are more than a performer. You work with kids as a theater teacher.
Yes.
This is amazing. And multiple age groups. Mm-hmm. Tell everyone about that.
Okay. So, sorry, this is because the school year is starting, so this is like my pride and joy right now.
Yeah.
So we have the littles with the Bach Center. So the Bach Center does in-school residency theater programming, and we teach elementary school students how to become theater makers. So yeah, the setup is a little bit different. We're not necessarily, we're not telling them like, read this monologue or remember these lines. Like, they're curating, they're using their own ideas, and we kind of help them to formulate their ideas into their own plays.
That's amazing.
Yeah, and then they perform it for their peers and their family. It's a 10-week residency at each school, so we try to get into as many elementary schools as we can. Wow. To give students the opportunity. Yeah. So that's what I do with the Bach Center. And then with the Huntington, we work in high school.
That's amazing.
Yep. So
a little more challenging.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. So, you know, because high schoolers, they're cool. Like, they're like,
oh, absolutely.
They're like, we have to do this. We'll see. But by the end of it, they always love it, which is like my favorite part. They come in unsure and they leave and they're like, you know what? I kind of like this.
See, that's a credit to you. All right, so where can people find your music?
Yes, you can find my music on all streaming platforms at Cakeswagg with 2 G's. Yeah, on everything.
And then all the socials, I mean, game is tight on the socials.
Thank you.
Highly professional, great stuff.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for joining us. Cakeswagg again, and good luck.
Thank you.
Yeah, all right.
There's more to come on the remix. Stay with us. Well, as teachers and kids go back to school, your children might be experiencing some anxiety about the school year and the changes that come with it. But underneath the anxiety is a capacity for growth, and one couple is helping kids see that change isn't something to fear, but a chance to learn through one of the characters in their new book series.
And so he does a really great job of representing what we all feel as we encounter change during a time like the back to school season. And those things are really pressed on and disrupted. And so it's just this great connection point for parents and their kids to explore a concept like change through the lens of this little relatable character.
Well, Michael and Nicole have some tips for helping your kids through the initial wave of change. First, chart the course for them, and this can be as easy as reading with them, even as basic as a picture book. It can be a great conversation starter. Secondly, steer the boat. Building a consistent routine can be very beneficial for kids who are adjusting to changes. And finally, be an anchor for them. Be present as they navigate these new emotions and changes. That way, even if everything else goes wrong, they'll find comfort in knowing that you are there for them. That book is called Cozy Critters on the Ark, and you can order it now on Amazon. Thank you for joining us on the Remix. We'll be back next week with more community, entertainment, and lifestyle stories.